Brace for impact. Cross the line.
This is my destiny. It is the truth I see. In this world I find a way to cross the line. Everybody's doing what everybody's doing. Everybody's doing the same thing. I'll be doing what I'll be doing. I'll be doing my thing. The world spins round to the right, they say. I'll be spinning the other way. Doing what I can, doing what I know. The world's my stage and I'm the show. It is my destiny. It is the truth I seek. In this world I find a way to cross the line. No possibilities for originality. Don't be left behind. Go ahead and cross the line.
Whoa. How's it going, everybody? It's Brace for Impact, and I'm your host, Mike Gilbert, and I'm going solo on that ass, and it's still the same. We're talking TNA wrestling. I am here in my truck out here in Uptown Charlotte. If the audio is good, let me know. Give me a thumbs up. This is a test stream that I am doing. I'm running my iPad and my iPhone at the same time. Little echo here. Okay. Yeah, I can actually hear the echo. Okay. Well, shit. Let me see what I can do here. Sorry about this, folks. Hold on just a sec. All right, how's that? We good now? No echo? All right, Dobby the Brain Heenan said, had you fine, but definitely can hear an echo. So what I tried to do was run my cell phone because the camera's better and control things off the iPad, and that way I had two different devices going on at the same time. That didn't fucking work. So I'm just running off my iPad, no headset. I didn't bring the headset today. So we did a Zodiac Killer episode for the Witching Hour on Patreon, and I wore my headset, and I just thought the sound was awful. So immediately after the show was over, I listened back, and the audio was terrible. So I shit canned that one. I'm actually sending it back to Amazon, and I bought a brand new headset that I'm going to try, because whenever I do the corporate podcasts, I don't want everybody that's around to be able to hear what me and JD are talking about. So, and I don't like the way it sounds through the Beats headphones. So I tried to get the gaming headset with the microphone, and it just didn't work. It fucking sucked. So, but yeah, this is another live stream. I didn't plan on doing a live stream today, but I don't have a meeting until 12, so I got a little bit of time. I do have some admin stuff that I got to take care of around 10:30, but here we are at 09:05 Eastern Standard Time, and we're back with a little bit of a live stream. So breaking news last night, and I speculated about this yesterday. I kind of was like on the fence about whether or not it would happen. I wasn't willing to report it, but there was enough smoke there where we thought that maybe it could happen. AEW signed all four of the fucking Rascals. So in one fell swoop, Tony signed all four of them, man. We thought that was a possibility, but I didn't know that it would actually happen. And good for them, honestly. I get the feeling they're making a lot more money than what TNA would have been able to pay them, given what the return on investment would be for TNA. TNA doesn't have money coming in just yet. They have this new TV deal, and who knows when any of that money is going to be kicking in? Who knows what that money even looks like? That it was there was rumors that it was like 10 million a year. Doesn't appear that that's the case. Because if they were getting 10 million a year, that's significant money for a company like TNA. They would be able to afford to keep the Rascals happy. But even with that money, they wouldn't be able to afford to outbid AEW. And if anybody is doubting whether or not AEW sees TNA as competition, I think the fact that they signed all 4 of the Rascals, and they signed Jake something last week, and they made sure to bring Jake in last week, bring him in, but they made sure to put that information out last night during Dynamite that the Rascals were in tow. And then they got the graphic on AEW Dynamite last night announcing the Rascals to sign. That was a direct shot across the bow to TNA. If you don't think that was, you don't understand what pro wrestling is and what it's like to be in you don't understand pro wrestling wars. Tony Khan and AEW absolutely see TNA as competition now, which was the goal for WWE the entire time, was to build TNA up to be competitive with AEW. Now, when I say that, TNA is not a threat to AEW's number 2 spot. No threat whatsoever. AEW has infinite amount of resources compared to what TNA has. Tony Khan and the Khan family are super billionaires. AEW in and of itself is a $1 billion corporation. You know, they got, whatever it is, upwards of 185 million or whatever it was, a TV deal coming in through Warner Brothers Discovery. You know, they have a wider reach globally. They do much bigger on pay-per-view, and their bigger live events is going to crush the biggest live events that TNA could put on. So they aren't all that close. But with TNA being on basic cable, being on AMC is a really good fucking station. It is just like a slight notch below TBS and TNT. It is a really good channel. They don't have live sports, so they're not. They don't get like the same exact viewership of TBS or TNT, but it is a powerhouse station. That is a big station. So AEW sees them as a threat, and it was proven last night with the fact that they not only signed off 4 Rascals, but they made the announcement last night. Look, does AEW need the Rascals? No. They have one of the most stacked rosters of all time. They don't. Are the Rascals really good? Yes. Are they going to be really fun to watch on AEW television? Absolutely. Will we also see them on Ring of Honor? 100%. You're going to see them work some Ring of Honor. They'll be on Collisions. They'll be on, they're going to be all over the place. Will the Rascals, Zach Wentz, and Desmond Xavier versus the Young Bucks be really fucking fun? Of course it will be. It's going to be awesome. So good for the Rascals. And TNA had to see this coming, man. Once they signed that TV deal and they didn't have all these people locked into contracts, Tony Khan was coming for their talent, and we saw 5 in the last week, and I think more are coming. I think AEW is going to sign more of TNA's roster in the weeks to come. And it's going to be 2 things. It's like, you can add to your company, make your company slightly better, but you can hurt your closest competitor. That's a big win for AEW. Why wouldn't you do that? You want to push TNA down that way they don't get too close to you. That makes a ton of sense. And I'm going to talk about what, the state of TNA here coming up shortly. Although it looks like my iPad's going to die soon. That sucks. So this one may be a short one. Sorry, this is the worst live stream ever. So I decided to come to my vehicle because there wasn't any great space for me to do this. There wasn't any great space for me to be able to do this in the office. So I came out to the vehicle to do it. So we'll see how this ends up working out. I am not confident that we're going to stay on the air for very long. I might have to do a second one. All right. So, but yeah, the Rascals, I speculated yesterday that maybe, 1 or 2 of them would go to AEW and then 1 would go. So I was thinking Desmond Xavier and Zach Wentz would be probably AEW bound, and that Trey Miguel was going to go to WWE, and that Myron Reed would stick around. That was kind of my speculation, but then it started towards the afternoon, after After I was off the air, you started hearing rumblings, and there were signs that it was possible that the Rascals were going to be going to AEW, and then sure enough, they did. I think this is a good signing by Tony Khan. I think these guys fit in really nicely with what they do. That fan base is going to embrace these guys. I know a lot of them are being snobs about it because they're coming from TNA. You know, you don't have to pay attention to those people. Those are not good people. The Rascals are great, and the Rascals are going to be impressive. And once they start kicking out of shit and doing all the fucking moves that they do up there in AEW, and they prove that they can hang with the top acts in AEW. Look, they can go hang with the Young Bucks. I think they can get 5 stars with the Young Bucks. I think they can hang with FTR. They can hang with Jet Speed for sure. Hell, we've seen Speedball and the Rascals in singles matches have great matches with the Rascals. Specifically, the match that he had with Zach Wentz, that was a 5-star match by any definition. I think Dave even might have given it 5 stars. But AEW fans are going to be really impressed by the Rascals. They're going to eventually embrace them. Right now, they're kind of like, you know, snubbing their nose at it. They're really snobby people, really sanctimonious people, a lot of them. But they're going to end up liking these guys because they're going to be able to do the matches that they like. Right now, they're just like, oh, let's say why are they signing TNA guys? Blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck up, you idiots. You guys are going to love these guys. Trust me. They're going to get over just fine. I think that the move would be, I know that there's the trios titles, but they brought in all 4. So you could do trios titles with these guys, but I would put Zach Wentz and Desmond Xavier as a tag team, but like reform MSK and have them go for the tag titles. And then you got Trey Miguel and Myron Reed as singles acts. And then you could put them all 4 together for their big party tag matches that they like to do. I think it's great. Let's go to the chat here. Let's see how long I can go. I might have to split this stream up into 2 different streams. Okay. Let's see. Lucky Charm says, get that damn title off Wax Stacks. Well, he's defending the title tonight. We'll see how that goes. Let's see. SRS said that he's told TNA signed someone completely out of left field. You know, that's interesting. I wonder who that's going to be. Left field to me wouldn't be a Matt Taven. I don't think left field would even be Tommaso Ciampa. If I'm looking at left field, somebody that would be completely shocking and surprising to the TNA audience, given how they left, would be Killer Kross and Scarlett. That would be out of left field to me. But maybe he's saying that, maybe he's hearing that it's somebody that you just haven't heard from in a long time. I don't even know what out of left field means. My first instinct was it's like, you know, probably, you know, Christian Yelich or Teoscar Hernandez from the Dodgers, right? Because they're left fielders. But, you know, I've told that joke several times and nobody fucking laughs at it. I love that joke. It's a fantastic joke. And if you don't like it, you can kiss my ass. All right. TNA waited too long, and this is part of the result for sure. Chad Schultz says, never trust an Apple product. I got out to my truck and I had 50% battery. I started this live stream. I have 14% now. So at some point, my iPad's gonna die, and then I'm gonna switch to the phone. And once I switch to the phone, I won't be able to do the comments because I just can't do comments with the phone. Okay, I feel like today's episode is gonna be a flop. No groundbreaking signings, and probably the same ass creative plus Perez Hilton. I mean, I told you guys to prepare for that, right? They didn't switch the creative team. They didn't add to it. It's the same guys, and they think that their ideas are good. They think that their ideas are a big part of the reason why they got AMC. Now, I do think that they're going to have some debuts tonight. I do think that they will. They have to. They just lost 5 members of their roster in one fell swoop. I think they always thought that Jake was leaving. You know, and they had been preparing for Jake's departure for a long time. They had to know that the Rascals were leaving because of the way that they treated them, with reverence, obviously. But they put them in matches that made it seem like they were farewell matches. So I think they kind of knew that those guys were going. So they've probably been preparing for it. And towards the end of the stream, we'll talk about who we could see coming in. Let's see. Remember, Delirious and Matt Taven equals ratings. Well, our Ring of Honor went out of business with that duo before, but I like Matt Taven. Let's see, they're great, but I think after a little bit they get lost in the shuffle on a stacked roster. I mean, that's true of everybody. They're going to get pushed immediately. They're going to get scaled back. And then from there, they're just going to have fun matches, which is what they've been doing in TNA. They go to the titles, they get the belts, they lose the titles, and then they just go back down the card and they just have fun matches. That's what the Rascals are. They're fun, get the crowd moving, energetic act that you love to have on your show. But now they're getting full-time pay. TNA pays you like basically by the date. They'll say, hey, look, can I get you for 30 dates next year? They'll pay you for that. And then anything other than that, you're on your own. So you got to go work the indies to supplement your income. They might still work indies, but they don't have to. They're going to be making enough money where they don't have to work the indies to supplement their income. These guys are golden right now. They might be able to buy houses. This card is seriously unappealing. I have no hope for this company. The show has 3 advertised matches. Stax is now going to have a match, so there's 4. We don't know who his opponent's going to be. They'll probably have a 5th because they need to at least have an X Division showcase match. If they don't, I think it's a fail. But tonight, it's going to be heavy angles and introducing a new audience to the TNA characters. It's not going to be a match-heavy show. There's only going to be one match that's going to have any time given to it, and it's going to be the main event. All right. In 2 weeks, they'll be calling the Rascals their demons, fickle-ass fan base. Yeah, for sure. Y2J showing up. AJ Styles going to wrestle at Genesis? I think the answer to both of those questions is probably not. I would bet against both of those things happening. Now, but there are people out there that think that's happening. I'm just not one of those people. I'm more of a believe it when I see it type of guy when it comes to that. I don't think TNA is pulling that off. So, said they couldn't even draw 2,600 people for the AMC show. I think they're going to be over 3,000 by bell time. Yeah, they'll be over 3 for sure. Okay. Does tonight AMC debut really need a surprise debut to be a good show though? I mean, I think that would help, right? It would help for sure. Honestly, who's the work rate wrestlers on the roster right now? Swan, Cedric Macklin, Mustafa Ali, obviously. I happen to think that I like Mike Santana as one of those guys. I don't like to use the term work rate. I don't think that actually is like a real thing. But as far as like good wrestlers, they still have some, but they just lost, 4 of the best guys on the roster. And then 5 if you count Jake. Jake was really good. All right, they're building Genesis, a new audience, and laying a foundation for Albuquerque next week. Yeah. So they got a lot. They got a lot to accomplish on this show. Okay, now, so the Rascals are gone. Let's go ahead and move on to Will Hobbs. Will Hobbs has left AEW. He finished up last night. His contract expired at midnight. This is according to Fightful Select. I think Body Slam has some reporting on this too. He is WWE bound. I think Corey from Body Slam, I don't think he's reporting this, but I think this is his opinion, and he said this publicly, so I'm not saying anything out of school, that he thinks that he's going to go right to the main roster, and I think that would be good. NXT has been completely depleted, so Will Hobbs would be a good addition to NXT should they decide to go that way. But I don't know that that's what they're going to be doing. I don't know that that's what they're going to be doing. So we'll see what happens with Will Hobbs. Will Hobbs, he ran his course in AEW. My goodness, guys. Okay. I will be right back. My iPad is at 5% battery. It started at 50. Something's going on with my iPad. I'm having technical issues. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to close this stream. And I'm going to follow it up, and we're going to kick it off with Will Hobbs, and then we'll do a full preview of TNA on AMC, who I think is actually going to show up. I just saw 3 fucking nerds drive by me in a lifted truck, giggling like schoolgirls. I want to push them into a locker. Okay, I'll be right back, guys. Stand by.